Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 22nd episode of the ICA Cricket Show. It's been a busy fortnight for Indian cricket with two teams on tour, but the focus, even in this year of the T20 World Cup, was most certainly on the just concluded Edgbaston Test. Just as we felt the Indians had done almost everything to be on their way to only their fourth ever series win in England, the hosts came rolling back in style to register a fantastic record-breaking win to level the series, which started during the last English summer. This is strange times indeed. An awesome series was just brought to a riveting end. To discuss what went right and, of course, what went wrong, I have the pleasure of welcoming back Messrs. Ashok Malhotra, Jatin, Paranjape, and Sunil Subramaniam to the show. Ashok, a former national selector, as you all will be aware, is also the president of the ICA and my boss to say. He's usually busy with his television and radio commitments, but he managed to rope them in. Pleasure to have you back, Ashok.
Thank you very much, Sunil.
As it is to have you join us again, Jatin, also a former national selector who, apart from being on the Cricket Improvement Committee of the Mumbai Cricket Association, Mumbai made the final this year, and a fantastic run in the Ranji Trophy. Of course, they are also a small factor of the being 41 times champions. Jatin also runs an organization called Khelo Mo, which, as I mentioned earlier, encourages people to play more. They tie up with coaches, venues, etc. on their platform. Jatin, I all but completed reading the book on your dad, Vasu. I can tell you it's been an absolute pleasure to read about it. Congrats to you and my good friend Anand Vasu for putting this book together.
Thanks, Satish. Always a pleasure to be spending time with you.
Great. If it's England, we have to have Sunil Subramaniam, the left-arm spinner from Tamil Nadu, currently with the Tamil Nadu Cricket Academy, who was the Indian team manager of India's 2018 tour of England. I'm not sure, Sunil, whether the last time Virat Kohli was in form was that time, but thanks for making time from your coaching schedule. Certainly look forward to your views, especially on a certain Ravichandra Ashwin, once again not figuring the playing line.
Thanks, Satish. Thanks for calling me.
Pleasure all ours. Ashok, let me begin with you. At the toss, Ben Stokes, the England skipper, while saying that it was the weather that prompted him to bowl, also said, that we like to chase. The most unusual words used in a test match. But as it turned out, it was the highest chase by England in tests, highest chase by any team against India, and the first time a team has chased 250 plus in 4 consecutive tests. The captain and his side did exactly what they talked about in their show, chase well and extremely well.
Yes, they did it extremely well. They did the same in the last 3 test matches against New Zealand, and now they've done it against India, which surprised me, the kind of bowling attack we had. I never imagined that they can get to 78, which was a very, very formidable goal. But the fact is, as of now, they are in a different mindset. Before Root, they won 1 out of 70 test matches, and now they won 4 out of 4. So I really don't know. Is it the McCallum effect? Or is it the mindset? Because I think they're going to the same mold as they went in the one day. They went they went hammer and tong after the tag. Whether they lose wickets or not, it doesn't really matter. They're going with that format. But it's Satish is a double-edged sword. As long as you're winning, everything looks hunky-dory. But the moment you start losing, a lot of fingers will be pointed towards you. You can't keep throwing your wicket. I understand the way Bairstow and Root batted, brilliant batting. But the way Stokes got out, there's a lot of question marks on it. But so I don't know. As long as the going is good, cash onto it. That is all I can say. But the fact is, they're definitely the mindset, the body language, their strategy has definitely changed. But winning the toss and putting the other side in, even when the wicket is brown and is not seaming around, darting around, that defies cricketing logic, at least to say the least. But nothing succeeds like success, as they say. And not to forget, we didn't have Ravichandra in our hands.
Yeah, I'll certainly be coming to that. Thanks, Ashok. Jatin, to me, the highlight of the chase was the manner in which Joe Root and Tony Bairstow went about their task, the second innings especially. The way the rotators strike, made a mockery of the lines and lengths the Indians bowled. They toyed with the field setting, taken singles at will. It was not just boundaries. They were just knocking the ball here and there. They completed the chase of 378 in 76.4 overs, scoring nearly 5 runs. That was fantastic. Batting was the highest quality, was my thought. What about you? But, Jatin, maybe you can begin with this. Do you think India lost the test or England won it?
I was just going to start with that, Satish, because there are games of cricket which you lose, and there are games of cricket where you get beaten. I thought this was a game where England beat India fair and square through just superlative performance. So I think hats off to them. They took the they took the call of not batting first on, like Shokipa said, on a brownish looking pitch, or rather at least not a green looking pitch. But I think this is a win which they thoroughly deserve. They've outplayed India in this test match. And coming back to Bairstow and Root, I love watching red ball cricket, be it the Ranji Trophy or international cricket, but I don't remember any innings with this level of fluency from or two innings from Bairstow. I don't remember any innings to my mind where there's been so much fluency. I don't think one ball was played wrongly. The last time I saw such command was in Brian Lara's purple patch days, where everything would just get dispatched. But I thought fantastic kind of transition from an out and out aggression mode from Bairstow to a wait and watch in the second innings. Played that crucial hour out with Root. So Bairstow in top form, Root in top form, and against probably the best fast bowling attack in the world. I think sometimes you just have to doff your hat to the opposition and say well played and move on from there.
Point taken, Jatin. Sunil, I what he's talking about, having been beaten rather than having lost. Not this thing, disputing that as such. But Sunil, this is the third successive test, albeit the big gap in between, with the Indian pacers, and they have earned the right to be called pacers, have been found wanting in the fourth innings. Against South Africa, they failed to defend 240 and 212 at Wanderers and England respectively. And that too in conditions quite favorable to bowling, and against a far more inexperienced batting lineup. Here too, they went down with 7 wickets. Strangely, a big coincidence that all losses have been by 7 wickets. And when they're defending a far higher score of 377. All 3 occasions, the bowlers have done well in the first innings. When they lose it second time around, what do you make of this, Sunil? But just before you add to, he's saying it is something we need to look at and work on. We've been very good in the last few years, being able to take those wickets. But yeah, we haven't been able to do it over the last few months. Now it's after the loss. Could be a variety of factors, he said. Maybe we need to maintain that intensity. Maybe we need to maintain that level of fitness, maintain that level of performance through a test match. So he is talking about performance, fitness over a period of 5 days.
That's right, but which is why the support staff is there for.
True. Yeah.
So I'm not going to buy into those excuses. He's handed over. He's been given a team that had got used to winning overseas, and it just can't be explained that all of a sudden, because there is a management change, you have the same, almost virtually the same set of bowlers, and they're plummeting. I mean, you look at this match. I don't know the way these guys played. I mean, Shardul Thakur, honestly, we were disdainful to him. Right? Virat had a philosophy of having 4 fast bowlers, if not 5, to go with. But he also ensured that the fast bowlers were fit and raring to go. Fit and raring to go in the sense if you bowl your third spell of the day, you're still as potent or venomous as you bowl the first spell. Normally a bowler bowls 5-over spell, 6-over spell. So if you bowl this third spell, you're talking somewhere around 17 to 22nd over or 15 to 20th over. Now, that kind of potency was seen then. Now, I really don't know if it's a strength and conditioning job that these guys are not as potent. Also, in this particular match, especially in the second innings, whenever you start a new session, you expect your best bowlers to start, isn't it?
Yeah.
More often than not, we had seen Siraj and Shabul starting the attack on the last play as well. But there has to be a reason. There just can't be a reason that they were bowling well. It's not that both Shami and Bumrah were not able to strike. They were really bowling well. In fact, Shami bowled a brilliant spin in between on the first innings we saw. It was really going through. Why is it that these guys don't begin the attack? We were doing that from 2000 Johannesburg test from 2018 onwards to the series in England prior to this. The thing was curtailed and it began again. You could see guys bowling and being venomous even on their third spell. We looked bereft. On the last day, if you looked at the body language, within 20 minutes, you could know that these guys were, they were just going through the motions. They were not really bowling balls that were challenging areas. Singles prior to that, the previous day, I don't understand. Mid-on, deep point, singles are going to be taken. The field setting was, it was crazy. I thought you had to put pressure. These guys were simply, they were playing with it. Once you get your deep point in, they were looking at mid-wicket. Once your deep point is there, singles were being run. This kind of, this is, I would say it was amateurish. It's a hard word, it was amateurish. You got 3 wickets. You got to crush the opposition. You let the guys go. This has to be set back to what the processes were under Virat and Ravi's, when that duo was running the show. And I understand the kind of work that Bharat and I believe there cannot be a better fast bowling coach than Arun. The kind of inputs given to them, the bowlers bought into it. They were fit enough because of the fitness standards set in by Basu and Co. So Virat could extract the best of these guys. So all hyper aggression was translated to these guys. And one more point I want to bring up. You having Ashwin in this team. You're playing in the month of July.
That was my next question to you. Now, following the same thing.
It's a no-brainer that you have to play him. Now, the last day's play, here is a man who's full of ideas. I thought where India lagged was ideas. He's a guy who will get in fresh ideas. He's a guy who will manufacture a wicket. Come on, you're talking about one of the world's best off spinners. Now, having the previous time that you went there, Virat was justified. Strange circumstances, one match he was supposed to play, cloud cover, he couldn't play. But the bowlers were there on song. Then we had a huge break, and then we had to play this game in between. We played very little test cricket, and I didn't see Shardul Thakur. Yes, the reasons for Shardul Thakur was he got to the 7-wicket haul in Johannesburg when he played, right? So, and his strike rate is something I'm told 38 per wicket. Those are stats. But he has not bowled to inspire any kind of confidence in the IPL either. So why is it that this looked like a compulsory decision to go with 4 fast bowlers? The kind of job that Shardul does, hindsight is easy to say, but I said this minute the team was picked, that the kind of job that's expected at number 8 or 9, Ashwin will do that as a batsman. And I'm pretty sure on the last day, this is where we felt his absence. He would have conjured. It's a matter of 110 for 3. What it was 140 for 4 or 200 for 5. Then you've got a tail that starts after Stokes and after Sam Billings. There isn't much to talk about. That's when the bowlers will get even more. They'll get charged up. But who's got to get those wickets? And there was a sameness about the way. We guys were bowling. Fast bowlers. All of them similar heights. Earlier we had Ishant who used to bowl a different trajectory. Everybody is bowling from more or less the same release points. So it then kind of becomes mechanical for the batsman once they get into the groove. Who's to change that? If you don't have such a tall fast bowler, you have an off-spinner in your rank who is undoubtedly a world-class bowler. It still baffles me. And nobody wrote about it. Post-game, I was seeing all these, what was appearing in the media, nobody seemed to write about it. I think that was a grave error. The combo should have been 2 spinners, 3 fast bowlers. They would have done the job. I think this is again, Jatin said right, they played well and they beat us. But we were still in with the game. What if Hanuma had taken that catch? 4 wickets down. Matter of 1 more. And something different in your bowling attack. Jaddu bowling 16, 17 overs on the wickets trying to hit that patch. Bowling at the pace. The same.
No, bowling over the wicket.
Sorry, over the wicket. Sameness to it. There was a sameness to the attack which was very predictable. And the kind of form that Barstow, as Jatin said, very rarely here is a guy who's played 80 odd test matches and he's got double the number of hundreds in the next 4 test matches or 5 test matches. That's the kind of form he's in. So if there's going to be a sameness of the bowling attack, I'm sure these guys are going to exploit it. And with the mantra that England is going through with the new coach and a captain who buys into it, you could see that these guys, you give them 1 inch, they'll take a kilometer. They were doing the same thing, bowling with a certain stiffness, There was not enough thinking there to change the pattern. The singles are being taken to point for a session and a half. So what do you expect? I expected them to be a little more thoughtful in the way they run about their field placing and who bowled when. And this test match, I believe Ashwin had to play. Maybe he would have lost, I don't know. But this would have given us a better option, better chance for us to force a result.
Sunil, I can't disagree. Ashok bhai, you were actually mentioned in the beginning about Ashwin. You know, even the likes of Moeen Ali, Graham Swan, the match before the test match, they were crying out for saying it has to be two spinners because it's the England second half of the summer, and the wickets, you know, have been producing runs this season for some reason in England. A lot of high scores have been, you know, made by the county teams. So at the beginning itself, did you feel Ashwin should have played, and what do you make of what happened?
Yeah, I was into Channel. I said the same thing. Ashwin should have played. As Sunil very rightly said, he's probably the second best match winner, you know, after another. You know, so I don't know how can he overcome. And despite him having five test hundreds too, so he's a genuine all-rounder. And when you talk about four medium pieces, you are one dimension. And once, as Sunil said, once you get used to it, then runs come very easy. With Ashwin, the problem with Indian bowling was they could neither pick up a wicket nor check the runs. And then the strategy. Why the new ball was given to Siraj instead of Bumrah, I would not understand. I can't point fingers at Bumrah because the strategy must be made in the presidency by the think tank, by the management, in the team meeting or in the huddle. I would not know. But the fact is, I can't point fingers at Bumrah because it's his first match. He's bound to make mistakes. Probably he's towing the line what was being told for him to do. So that is exactly what he was doing. So I think somewhere along the line, mind was not there. And if you are going to play with four medium pacers and you're going to toe the line with Ravi and Virat has said, then when are you going to stamp your authority, stamp your brand of cricket? We all are in love with Rahul Dravid. I think the honeymoon period gradually seems to be getting over. Now people are waking up to Rahul Dravid because supposing if he in Test cricket every time he says we are learning. So God forbid this is not a team of 18, 17. When you go there and learn and lose a series, come back and draw a series, it's like a win. Now we are the number one side. We are the number one side. We are supposed to win. We want to win. The entire India is very unforgiving. The cricket watching public is very unforgiving. The honeymoon period for Rahul is getting over. Slowly but steadily. If you keep losing, as Sunil very rightly said, we were all conquering team under Virat and Ravi Shastri. All of a sudden, since he has taken over, we have started losing teams in foreign conditions. So I don't know what has happened. We have the best pace attack in the world. And I still can't understand why and how. That Umran Malik, a guy who goes 150 plus, I get goosebumps looking at him because I've never seen anything like this happening. Why he's not preferred? Because Rahul Dravid will prefer Navesh Khan, he'll prefer Harshal Patel, but they will not give chance to Umran Malik or say Ashdeep Singh. So somewhere along the line, you have to take tough decisions if you want the team to win. And then you have to instill in them the belief. That is what is lacking. I agree with Sunil when he says body language is so their heads were down, their shoulders were down, and they were not fighting because 190, a couple of wickets, and we would have been back in the game. But never seemed to be. Why would, as you very rightly said, why would we start with Shardul and Siraj instead of Bumrah and Shami, who are the most feared bowlers in this Indian pace? So they think there's a lot of things we can say, we can criticize, but the fact is, in India now, nobody likes a loser. It can be Rahul Dravid also. Nobody likes a loser, and he has to be asked because God forbid if we don't win the T20 cricket, I don't see Rahul Dravid continuing as captain. And even when he was a skipper, he bailed himself out. The moment things got tough, he bailed himself out as a captain. He resigned as a captain. So he can do the same thing as a coach also, because I somehow don't feel that he's very comfortable because Satish coaching an under-19 team, coaching an NEA team where everybody is telling you, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And everything, what do you say, So, it's a gospel. But when you're coaching an Indian team or managing an Indian team, you've got to be the best. That is what Rahul has been struggling. And everybody's tired of his giving diplomatic answers, telling, oh, this is good, we will get better, we will go back to the drawing board. I think there's no drawing board left. There's only board left. Drawing is already gone. So you have to draw a new picture if you want to win, or come back and stay, or you will have to win the T20 World Cup.
Jatin, I have another question for you, but would you want to weigh in on this? Because it's hot.
I'd like to talk about Ashwin. I mean, I have been trying to search for some logic on why he has not been playing, abroad. I haven't found any logic at all. Here's the best off spinner in the world. And he sits out game after game in overseas conditions. I think one thing which we need to introspect is overseas or India. Why don't we look at playing to our strengths? Our strength is not 4 fast bowlers and 1 spinner. Our strength is 3 fast bowlers or 2 fast bowlers, an all-rounder, and 2 quality spinners. Here you have Shardul and Jadeja. Shardul is a maverick at best, but he's not a wicket taker. Jadeja is not a wicket taker. So you're out of 5 bowlers, you have 2 guys who you are, bringing into the 11 just to kind of, stall one end up, with Jadeja. So I thought the thinking was flawed. Ashwin should play in the 11 any day of the week and twice on Sunday, to be honest with you. So it baffled me. It baffled me, and I was left shaking my head during the entire test match. And that's happened a few times with Ashwin's exclusion. But then you look at if you really double click on, so for example, if you need further, arguments to support Ashwin's inclusion in the 11, personally, I don't think you need any argument. If you double click on it, you had a situation where a left-hander went for you in the 4th innings when they were beginning their chase, right? Imagine Ashwin bowling to him in the first 2 or 3 overs. It would have been a different story, trust me. And then Ashwin and Stokes match up. You have Bairstow, you have Root, then you have Stokes, who's the big tank which is going to batter you. Ashwin to Stokes, you can't step out and keep hitting Ashwin for 6 after 6. It's not going to happen. So if you needed any more supporting argument for this logic, it was already there. So for me, Ashwin should have played. And it's just unfortunate that, I just feel sorry for the guy, to be honest with you.
And Jatin, this transformation from an under-19 India A coach to the India coach, as Ashok was just mentioning quite strongly. Sunil also was talking about the earlier management. So the kind of adjustments that Rahul may have to make, what do you think of that?
No, absolutely. There will need to be some tough calls taken by him. From my experience of working with him when he was under 19 and India A coach, he is very capable of taking these tough calls. But sometimes you just want to kind of give the players a little more room. But sometimes you shouldn't as well. So I'm not going to go after Rahul, but I think he will have to be tough with this team. He will have to lay the law down with this team. The other thing of becoming captain. I understand that, you've appointed a vice captain. Now you've appointed Bumrah as a vice captain. That's fine. Do you see Bumrah as a potential long-term captain in the future? Or are you just appointing him because somebody else is injured? If you're appointing him because somebody else is injured, then you need to take a tough call when a situation like this arises when the captain himself is injured, right? I would have erred on the side of caution and asked Virat to lead this test match. I think an experienced captain would have approached many things differently. And let's be fair to Bumrah, he's not even led Gujarat, right? And do you really want to put an additional, responsibility on your best bowler? Probably worth an argument on that. So I thought they should have gone back to the old school kind of thinking and said, hey, I know you're vice captain, but we have somebody else who's captained the team for the last 6-7 years. Let's request him to step in for this game because it's a big game. And, if indeed we think about you as a long-term prospect, your chance will come. But right now, the horses for courses kind of piece was ignored a little bit. So I thought that was another miss.
Well, yeah, you got a point. But, Sunil, I'm not I'm quoting Bumrah here, but for different reasons. Bumrah said, after the match got over in his post-match presentation, asked to explain what happened, when did the change happen, India going to lose. No, he said this is the beauty of Test cricket. Even if you have 3 good days, you have to keep it coming and keep with a good performance. But he then said that he fell short of the bat. So I'm not here ascribing the fact that Bumrah's turning the blame, he's the bowler, but batsmen, there are at least 4 of our batsmen who failed in both the innings. The Gill, Bihari, Kohli, and Shreyas. So that's the difficult thing for a team to take. The bowlers, brought us back into the match. Bowled brilliant in the first innings. The batsmen have to take this responsibility too, don't they?
I was just coming to that, but before that, let me answer Jatin's point about Virat captaining. Jatin, I don't think it would have happened. I don't want to take names, but there was an instance in Asia Cup where an ex-captain was leading the side, and I know the kind of trouble that happened because he was asked to lead the side. Ye nahi hoga. I mean, much as the cricketing thought, the administration didn't take it lightly, so I don't think that would have happened. But the point you're making, Satish, it's not just now. During the time that I was there from 2017, started from 2016 onwards. See, end of the Fab 4 or 5, Sachin, Rahul, Saurav, Sehwag, Lakshman. After that period, 2007-8ish, I'm sorry to say, our system has not been producing quality batsmen, period. Our system is not able to produce guys who can handle pace and swing. Now, as long as Virat was getting those grandfather runs, this was somehow brushed under the carpet. It wasn't seen. Now that Virat is going through the form that he's going through, dreadful form, your batting is being exposed. And this was from 2017 onwards. We were defending ridiculously low targets because the bowlers were winning it. There were series in Australia where Pujara got runs. That was the only exception. Apart from which, it was the first time that we beat Australia. We have not been pulling our weight as a batting side. Now, if you're telling me that Shreyas Iyer is the one who's got the garden side, but he's got a short ball problem, he's one of the best from your system that has come through. And if you're telling me guys like Hanuma, Vihari, who are going to be the best that the system can throw up, then boss, there's got to be a relook. There's got to be a serious relook why we cannot produce multi-dimensional players. Look at the way Barristow plays T20 and ODI and Test cricket. Look at the way Root plays ODI and Test cricket. Why are we pigeonholing people? Why are we saying this guy is a T20 batsman? Why are we saying this guy is a ODI batsman? Why can't we? It's been too long. It's been about 11, 12 years now that we are not throwing up quality batsmen. Why is it that we are not producing multi-dimensional players? We need to have them. And look at this team. You had 2 guys, Shubman Gill, Bujara, were not openers. Circumstances made them open. And then you have Bihari coming in at 3. Even a reasonably good, successful county attack would love to bowl to these guys because they will get into their group. Who's to play the shots yet not be loose in defense, not to lose their wickets? Have we found somebody? I don't think our system has produced enough that can warranty that this guy is given a run. So why not let us look at the guys? Let us look at the Patidars who are coming in now. He's got runs in T20I. He's got runs in the Ranji final. There's some sign that the guy can be multi-dimensional. What about guys like Surya Kumar Yadav? Bring back Prithvi Shaw. If that's what it needs. We need somebody at number 3 and 4 who doesn't play exactly like the way openers play. But do we have the people? I have not seen anybody who is really excited me and saying, this guy can do this guy. What if this guy is given a run? Our system is not. Does it mean to say that regardless of the system you put in, only God has to give you talent? We need solid middle order batsmen. Our opening was this time a temporary. What if Rohit and
Yeah.
our player may have been a different story. So we've got some reasonable openers there. But we've really got to find good 3, 4, 5. And last point, this is harsh. It's time for Virat to be judged as any other batsman. It's harsh, people may not like it, but you're talking 952 days. There was a stat that I read, 2019, Virat had 2800, Joru had 16. Joru is now 28, Virat is still 27. And his average 29. So we have to have the same standards. We really can't keep saying, yes, yes, ho gaya. It's almost 3 years now. You have to get runs to hold your place. Otherwise, you might as well get in. You have to hold your place to get runs. Simple. Big runs. This kind of tough, if you can do the kind of tough talking or treat Ashwin in the manner that he's been treated, I don't understand why the others can't be. He's not had half the failures these guys have got. But there are some who have been given very long rope. I think it's time the batsmen really need to be asked. Yes, the bowlers have been questioned in recent times, the last 2 series, which, yes, rightly pointed out by Ashok and by Jatin that it's a different thing leading, coaching a developmental side, and it's completely different leading or coaching a international side. But the batsman, the coach also needs resources. We need to see that the guys who are playing right now deliver, get their runs. I think enough rope is being given to all. And we have to, selectors, domestic selectors especially, it's a challenge that they have to find guys who they think can be multi-dimensional players.
Sunil, I think that's a fantastic point about lack of batting quality. And we're talking of India. We always threw a batsman like nobody's business. People couldn't get into the side or such competition, especially that Fab Five when they were around. So many people would have lost out. And if you look at multi-dimensional people who are fitting across formats, yes, it is. I think perhaps it's an opposite thing like a Rishabh Pant, who's struggling in the limited overs format but succeeding at this level. Maybe a Jadeja is the one who's succeeding with the bat at all the 3 formats. Is something that. So Ashok and Jatin, both of you have been national selectors. I think Sunil has got onto a great point about we are not able to produce the kind of batsmen we used to happily to churn out, like a factory earlier. Ashok, you first and Jatin later. I think this is a very important point. I'm keeping Kohli aside for now because I think that will be entirely the whole show we need. So, but I'm talking about in general. Ashok, you first, please.
Satish, I beg to differ with Sunil. We got a lot of batters. Only they are given chances. The number of chances that Shubman Gill has got. He seems to have blue-eyed ball. He failed in Indian conditions. He failed except for a 90 in Australia, he failed in most of the other matches. He struggles the ball when ball comes back in. He struggles when the ball goes out, but he's always preferred. Why can't somebody like Ruturaj prefer? Or a Sanju Samson? Or a Rahul Tripathi? Or Surya Kumar Yadav? These are the guys, as Sunil is saying, multi-dimensional cricketers. Why can't they be given a long role? Why they are given 1 chance or 2 chances and then put in the scrappy? So somewhere along the line, the tough decision, when we talk about Rahul Dravid, tough decision, I want to know who is calling the shot. Is it Rahul Dravid or the selection committee? Because Rahul said, Shikhar Dhawan, your career is over. So although he's a #1 player in IPL in the last 3-4 years for India. He's the best performer as far as the Indians are concerned. But now he's the skipper of the one-day side to West Indies. Step back, kind of thing. It is total confusion. And then we got 7 to 8 captains. You tell me, Satish, 7 to 8 captains. Everybody's a captain in the side now. Captaincy was a reality. It was an honor. Now everybody's a captain. For me, if you want to make captains, make Rohit, because his captaincy seems to be kids for him. Since he's become a captain, he's injured or he's a COVID effect. And another guy, because Rishabh Pant lost 2 IPL tournaments for Delhi captains. One, he bowled Tom Curran instead of Rabada in the last over, and the last one, he did not appeal for Tim David. So he single-handedly lost 2 games. KL Rahul was a shadow of a captain in South Africa because the team was rudderless under him. So I think the only guy who's captain brilliantly in IPL is Hardik Pandya. For me, there are two guys who can genuinely be captains of this India team. One is Rohit Sharma, a red ball captain, and a white ball, if provided if he remains fit, is Hardik Pandya. So somewhere along the line, little tougher decision. But when you talk about batters, there are a lot of batters. There are a lot of batters provided they're given the opportunity. Mayank Agarwal struggled and scored tons of runs before he got his chances. Even now, his average is much better than the Shubman Gill, but he's not preferred. It is Shubman Gill is always. And then you cannot play two Chiteshwar Pujaras in one.
Correct.
Chiteshwar Pujara and Hanuma Vihari. Because if they both of them bat, they'll bat for until lunch, score 40 for 1. You lose a wicket, their pressure is back on you. So somewhere along the line, I think you have to do a little bit of tinkering with your batting lineup. You have to do some tinkering. And maybe, because for me, believe you me, I'm not very critical of Rahul, but he's very old. Believe you me, you have to take the fight to the option. You have to get out and express yourself. You are the coach of this Indian team, all conquering Indian team. All of a sudden we're losing because you're not you're calling the shots, if I may say. You have to take tough decisions. And when Sunil said about Virat, definitely for me, it's a big question mark on Virat at number 3 in T20 cricket. If the top two bats 10 overs, do you expect Virat to bat next 10 overs? Because he's going to bat in singles and twos, where he needs 4th and 6th in the last 10. So somewhere along the line, he'll be a misfit in the end. Either he opens or he doesn't fit into the team. So there are a lot of
Shobha, I think your connection is gone. Anyway, Jatin, I'll come to you, Jatin. One is, first I want to, about this captaincy, you should see there's a meme going around, I don't know if you've seen. All of them, these 7, 8 Indian players have their hands, how they place it. And if you do this, the winner becomes the captain that way. But Jatin, I want to talk to you about the batting part. I thought Sunil had a take. I mean, when he's not talking about lack of talent as a batsman, we're not the same. But think people who can, fit into a test team, make the transition from a one-day side or a T20 side, play different formats, and as you're putting somebody as a T20 specialist, these kind of things have probably robbed us of some, proper batting talent. Do you think that there's an issue there?
I think under Rahul, this team will have to find a brand of cricket which they want to play. Under Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli, there was a brand of cricket which the Indian team was playing, which was in your face, we'll keep coming at you all the time. That was the brand of cricket which was being played. Now, Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid will have to think about what their team stands for. What does this team stand for? And when you double click on that, they will have to take certain hard calls on 2 or 3 crucial batting positions. One is the opening partner for Rohit. Number 3, very crucial. And number 5, again, very crucial, right? Because you expect you expect Pujara and Virat. I don't agree with this assessment on Virat. I think he batted well in both the innings, got an absolute snorter in the second leg. Everybody would have got out with that. So I don't agree with Shokipa and Sunil on that. But I definitely think that you need to decide who are your 2 or 3 guys for the opening slot. You can't just have somebody who is opening occasionally to come and open the batting all the time. It does not work. Opening the batting is probably the most difficult thing in this game after bowling leg spin or left arm Chinaman, right? So they need to decide as to who are their 2 or 3 guys to open the batting. And number 3 again is a big hole. The way Bihari batted did not inspire any confidence in anybody. He was just out there trying to block the ball against guys like Anderson and Broad. If you are waiting for the good ball, trust me, it's going to come. It's going to come, right? So I think there are these 3 crucial batting positions which need to be thought of. But I think there is a pipeline of guys, who they can count on as well. Ruturaj Gaikwad, fantastic player. Surya again, somebody who needs to be thought of. Prithvi Shaw. I mean, have we closed the door on Prithvi Shaw completely? It certainly appears to be that way. One of the most talented players in the world, and that's the kind of job that's the kind of use case, which needs to be solved. If you've got the chops, if you've got the raw material, then it's up to the team management and the captain to harness that talent through. So I think Prithvi Shaw needs to be looked at, and there are many tough decisions for this team management to take. And I think I don't know how long the time lag is between this test and the next test. I think Australia come to India, if I'm not mistaken. So you need to take a couple of steps forward. Otherwise, you're going to keep getting stuck in a rut. If you say, let's give this guy one more chance, let's give this guy a couple of chances more, then you are not moving together as a unit in the right direction. So I think apart from the team management, this current committee of selectors has a very crucial role to play in this entire piece, because these are trying times for Team India, and everybody needs to come together and like I said earlier, they need to decide a brand which they want to play, which was missing in the last test match.
And one more thing, Jatin, I don't know what is the status on Washington Sundar. Here is a guy whom you say he's got a rehab in NCA, the bugger is going off to play county cricket.
Yeah, correct.
So, can he not play for India?
Correct. I think a week later he played county cricket, or he's playing county cricket right now. Yeah.
And we are not duffers. Hey, buggers, if you can play, you can go to the ground and play.
Yeah.
Why not for India?
Yeah.
Here is a guy who was crucial in getting us a Brisbane win, got 2 90s when England came here, and he's a left-hander. In fact, I told this to Ravi when Washi first came into the team. They had got him as a bowler. I said, I've watched this guy from the age of 11. We hardly considered him a bowler. I used to only give him bowling in nets when other off spinners were tired. But his batting was an asset. His batting was a treat to watch.
Yeah.
This guy gets the hang of international cricket. Watch his batting.
Yeah.
Guy, then when he got his chances, he got us that victory. And I have one more point in jest to make. The Brisbane victory that we got was thanks to COVID. If COVID had not been there, I'm pretty well sure our guys would have sent 3 test specialists and that's it. Won the game. Who was the game? The youngsters. So-called T20s. Now, what's happened to this Washi? Why is he not around? No, as it is, we are not getting the best of talent that is coming through. Here is a guy who's proven that at least he's got the temperament for big match cricket. So why is he playing county cricket? Why not India?
Sunil, if Washi also had been there.
Satish, add a point. What Sunil is saying is, why don't we have a different, like Jatin said, a different brand? Why we saying this guy is test class, this guy, only the guy who played defense will be at test class. The guys who played shots are only white ball players. That I cannot understand. And then another thing which comes to my mind is, but how we won 2007? There was no Sachin, there was no Rahul Dravid, there was no Kumble, no Ganguly, no much. Why can't we send a young team? Are we going to send a guys who are totally out of form? See, I'm nothing against Virat. Test cricket, he is the legend. But when it comes to one day cricket, now Virat, when he goes out to bat, and you can give a rest now and then. You can only score runs and then get back to form, not sitting at your home. And secondly, whenever he goes out to play now 2020 cricket, he wants to score runs for himself. If I know the mentality of most of the batters, you want to score runs for yourself. Team comes second. So somewhere along the line, you have to take tough decisions. And the ball is in the court of Rahul. If you want to win T20 cricket, take the younger guys who have been performing, who are performers, not the guys who are out of perform and are struggling. And please let these performers, the Rajat Patidar, Sarfaraz Khan, Surya Kumar Yadav, let them play test cricket. Let them play and express them. If Rishabh can get runs in test cricket, if Virender Sehwag can get runs in test cricket, why can't these guys get runs in test cricket? Because these are the entertainers who will keep test cricket alive.
And one more thing, you tell me this workload management that is being bannered about now. Tell me, have IPL guys got workload management pundits? Suddenly everybody is fit when they play the IPL.
And they play all 14 matches.
कोई पंडित है क्या, कोई जिन है क्या, कोई जादू है क्या वहाँ पे?
So like
Somebody's got
money makes the mail go.
Like Ravi said, right? The IPL is the best physio in the world.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, we have to.
Saying in jest, all the work they're doing in IPL, all the lore for them is to play Test cricket.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we have to wind up shortly, but I was going to, Ashok bhai brought up that name, Jatin, if I don't come with that name, I've had a lot of people, my friends, cricketing groups, talking about this one particular guy, saying, why isn't he picked? He should be in England, he should be playing and all that. But, as a Mumbaikar, as a national selector till recently, Sarfaraz Khan, what do you make of his thing? Is his fitness an issue? As a selector, would you have a problem? As a national selector, would you have a problem saying any doubts about his fitness? He's played the IPL, he's played the entire Mumbai season. He's running around the field. I mean, I've seen his N2. I watched the Ranji Trophy final. The kind of N2 he brings to the field. But my argument was, look, he's been scoring, but this is one big season. And it's only 6 games this season, unfortunately. The curtailed season. Maybe another season or so. But what do you have to say, Jatin? And gentlemen, I'm going to bring a stop to the show after this because we're running out of time. But Jatin, if I don't ask Sarfaraz Khan, I'm sure a lot of people will ask him.
I think he's ready. He's had 2 900-run seasons. And I mean, what other yardstick do you need
Exactly.
to get a guy into the team? My answer is very short. He's ready. Get him into that number 5 position as fast as possible. Get him out on the next plane to a test match.
He doesn't have to get on a plane. It will be in India, so he can go by train also. Anyway.
One last point, Satish, please, to Jatin, to convey that to Ravi. I had seen somewhere one of these video shows, he had said that, I think it was an interview with Michael Atherton in the Sky Sports or whatever. He said, I had gotten the job by mistake and Rahul has gotten through the right process. If he thinks that job was a mistake, it's probably the best mistake anybody ever made. And these are pretty big shoes for him to fill. Him as a manager, motivator, last word on it. So I think please tell him it's a wonderful mistake. Wish such mistakes happen more.
Okay. We'll end the note and just show on the fact that mistakes do, work out very well in many occasions. This has been a fantastic one, actually. Gentlemen, absolute pleasure. I know it's been heated on a few occasions, but this test, it's a one-off test. Let's be clear that it could be a 5-test series, but this was a one-off test. So maybe time gap, everything. Like a Vihari, for example, what he did in Australia, we shouldn't forget so easily. But we have to go by what evidence we have right now. And this is talent which is knocking. Doors have to be open. But absolute pleasure having all 3 of you. I'll keep troubling you once in a while. You feel free to say you're busy. I'll understand. But thank you so much for making the time and joining us.
Thank you, Satish. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great. Ashok bhai, if you can hold on after the show, we want to talk to you. Official ICA matters.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Good to see you, Tokipa. Good to see you, Sunil.
Bye.